Welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy, Base the Kid. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. And boy, I wasn't planning on doing this one, but some breaking news has taken place. I don't normally do breaking news stuff, but this one's significant. And I feel like there's some layers to look at. So without further ado, there's one other thing I want to talk about before we get to that. But yeah, let's get into it. So at the weigh-in for Canelo Alvarez versus Jaime Munguia, you had Edgar Banga and Caleb Plant getting into a little altercation. I haven't seen the full video. I've seen like a 25-second snippet, so I'm not sure if there's a larger length video out there, because I know I went on a couple of sites and then the video was taken down due to the owner demanding it to be so. So I don't know if that was extended, but ultimately you got Edgar Banga is trying to talk to Caleb Plant on some G check. What it looks like, it looked like it was a bit of a G check, and he's like, yo, I wanna knock this dude out. But he's basically saying, I'ma wait until after September. Like, let me get my Canelo fight out of the way. As soon as I do that, I'm knocking this dude out. First things first there, that kind of just tells me this whole thing is clout based, because if you really want to see the guy in the ring, why are you waiting on a situation that you don't even know is gonna happen or not? Like, I get it that there's a possibility that he might choose you next, but as the WBA, even though because David Morrell's gone up to 175, so before Edgar Banga was the mandatory for the WBA regular title, which David Morrell held, but because he's going up to 175, he's now, I guess, become the regular, which means that he will eventually be the mandatory or the consolidatory for Canelo Alvarez. But the regular title also comes with its own mandatories, and that mandatory or that consolidation of the WBA hasn't been called yet. So him waiting on that is funny at this point, because he's actually got to hope that he wins a sweepstakes to get that, because he can't enforce a position at this moment in time. But look, in terms of that Edgar Banga and Caleb Plant, if it was to happen, it's actually a very interesting fight. I'm not gonna say who I make the favorite in that, but to me there is a clear favorite. There's one person in that fight that would have all the advantages over the other. That's what I'm gonna say. The only advantage they may not have is a stamina advantage. That's it. But it's funny. I mean, look, as much as people say stuff about Caleb Plant, like, leave that guy alone outside of the boxing ring, because he's known to put hands on people. He's put out a couple of open palm invitations to several people on occasion in the past. So yeah, he may get beat in the ring from time to time, but it's usually after he's tired. When he's fresh, i.e., say if you caught him in a street fight while he's fresh, you're in trouble, because I've seen him on several occasions, like, slap the shit out of people on road, like, when he's just full of energy. But obviously once those gas tanks starts to wear down, that's where the problems start coming. But yeah, it's an interesting proposition. But yeah, them waiting on this quote unquote Canelo fight, I think that's poor practice. From he had the fight with the Irish brother, Podrick McCrory. For me, had that fight, if I was them, I would have parlayed that into a very quick turnaround to fight again in May. Whether it was at the start here or right at the end, just literally 10 weeks, 11 weeks out, just to get an extra fight under the belt, make an additional monies, and even put yourself more in a shop window for a Canelo fight, because he's not going to announce his next opponent in the ring, more than likely. I mean, he could do, but or if you're that worried, like put another fight on like the week after or the week before, so that it's, you know, that you're totally there in the mind of the public, you know, shouting out and championing that fight or whatever. That's kind of how I see it. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think of that one in general. Another quick bit of news. I saw a video from Jamal Charlo. I'm not sure what channel it was from. It may have been an Ellie Setback video or interview over Zoom or something. But ultimately, Jamal Charlo's basically, he was saying that, okay, yeah, Caleb Plant, I give it up to you. You got your lick back with the slap kind of thing. That, yeah, I was maybe messing around on your beard. I shouldn't have done that. Rare. But he was ultimately saying that he's fallen out of love with boxing and he's about to retire. He doesn't care about the sport anymore. He has no interest in getting back in the ring. He's like family. He wants to get right with his family. He wants to do things with his family. I haven't seen the entire thing, so I don't know if there's any more context to it. All I can say is, if that's the case, I have no issues. I wish him well in retirement if that's what he chooses to do. I mean, his energy doesn't really seem right anyway. That's the first thing. But if that is also the case, then please talk to Mauricio Solomon today, tomorrow, this week, bank holiday Monday, or if you have to wait, go on Tuesday and tell him you're giving up that belt. The WBC 160 title, no longer interested. You won't be competing for it. Get rid of it so that Carlos Adames can get elevated to full champion, so he can do a full unification with Yanni Beck or whomever is in the 160 division. I don't even know who the other champion is. Yanni Beck's got the IBF and the WBO. He's got the WBC. Everslandi Lara's got the WBA. There you go. So Adames can do a unification with Lara if he doesn't want to, you know, move over to Top Rank or do something like that. So yeah, just a quick one on that. If it is the case, it's probably the best thing, because he's not in a right space. You can clearly see that he's going through some kind of madness and drama, and yeah, we don't really need to see any more of what's going on in his life. So get right, get help, get happy, all that good stuff, but give up the belt. And last but by no means least, and probably the most important thing we're talking about on this video, Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivel has been postponed from the 1st of June, and now that card will only be the Matchroom v Queensbury 5v5 tournament. It's happened because Artur Beterbiev has suffered a tear in his meniscus in his knee. I'm not sure which one, the article didn't say, but he's gone for surgery on it, and they say that he will be out of the ring until at least September. Now the question I have is, obviously it's not an ACL rupture or a cruciate knee ligament. It's a little meniscus. So I mean, how quickly will that heal? First of all, you know, can that heal by, say, the 1st of June, so that he can actually do a training camp to be ready by September? Will it heal by July? Will it take until August? Is there a chance it may not heal until September and he won't be able to train until then? These are all questions I feel like are pretty relevant right now. But what does become apparent, it's the same old story. It's yet another injury by Artur Beterbiev that postpones yet another fight. We had, obviously there was the initial postponement, I think, of the Anthony Yard fight due to injury. Then there was the postponement of the Callum Smith fight due to injury. And now there's this one. And obviously I always thought that this fight coming around was a little bit soon anyway, considering Ramadan finishes essentially in April, just like the start of April, and then you're jumping into a fight 8 weeks. It was literally sort of, I think, 9 weeks after Ramadan, from the end of Ramadan up till fight night. I thought that was a bit of a tight turnaround to begin with, especially when you haven't been eating properly, fueling your body properly, not being able to train properly. That's how I looked at it, unless he may have been training through that period and just adjusting his trainings to the times when he is allowed to eat and drink or whatnot. I don't know, but yeah, again, it's another day, another event squandered. But now I've got a little deeper thing that I'm looking at. That is, and this is I'm not saying anything about Saudi Arabia as such, but that's 2 undisputed fights in Saudi Arabia that have now been postponed within the space of 4 months of each other. I mean, I guess technically you could say 3, because the original undisputed was supposed to happen in December, December the 23rd, and then that got postponed to February, and then the February one got postponed to May for the heavyweights, and now the light heavyweights, the first time you're attempting to make it gets postponed from June to, at the absolute earliest, sometime in September. The whole thing it's feeling like undisputed in Saudi is cursed at this moment in time, because I mean, I know about coincidences is one thing, but something doesn't seem right. It almost, you know what it almost feels like, and this is just me speculating, it's me hyping, so you can take what I want to say, you can call me an idiot, deluded, whatever, that's fine, but I've almost got a feeling as if these undisputed bouts ain't really supposed to happen. They're just almost, they're there as like the carrot, just to entice you. Yeah, no, come to Saudi, because like we're the only ones that can put these fights on, but then we never quite get those fights. So the money that they're supposed to pay for these fights, well, they don't actually have to pay that money out, but you know, you get the but you can get the interest, and then it brings all the other fights that, you know, most of these other promoters wouldn't be able to fund in a huge way, but they're still considerably less in terms of outlays than these big, you know, all 4 or 5 belts on the line type fights. That's kind of how it's looking. Now, we've got 2 weeks for me to be proved totally wrong with Fury versus Usyk, 3rd time around, but that's just kind of how it's looking at this moment. And obviously I don't know about how the purpose-built arena is gonna, you know, sort of hold up in that June, you know, sort of that summer heat. Maybe the other idea was, well, we want Riyadh season is realistically between October and like March, when it's it's like our winter period where it's a lot cooler and a lot more able for tourists to come through. Like doing the fights on like the 1st of June and like this May fight and you know, the August one which they've had to put in America, it's almost like, yeah, we can't really parlay these times into benefits for our country, because people just ain't gonna come over here and travel in that mad heat. So if let's try and whatever tactics we can do to push them back towards the back of the year when the tourists come in a lot more, maybe more of these fights can be made. I'm spitballing here. Again, I could be chatting shit. It's early in the morning. My brain's not fully kicked into gear. But let me know, is what I'm saying that far-fetched? Like I said, we've had undisputed on 3 separate occasions for the heavyweight now that has fallen apart. Prior to there's 2 other times prior to that it fell apart once in 2022 and once in 2023. No, sorry, 2 times in 2023 and I think twice in 2022 as well. So I don't know, like I said, maybe I'm just looking, I'm reaching a bit in this one, but it almost feels like these undisputed fights ain't meant to happen, or they ain't meant to happen there at this time, and they actually want them at a more convenient time when more tourists are likely to be in the country, or they just don't want them at all, and you know, things are just happening with these issues, but they're enticing everyone else in with the rest of the schedule they're putting on that's unrivaled, but a much cheaper outlay than putting on these big 4 and 5 belt fight matches. Let me know what you guys think, but ultimately it looks as Artur Beterbiev is injured again. The body well and truly is breaking down. As much of an elite athlete as he is, he just can't seem to stay healthy and fit, and that in itself could be all the reason that you pick Dimitri Bivel to win a decision against him, whether that's via stoppage or 12 rounds UD majority split. And yeah, like when it comes, obviously you need two functioning legs to be able to, you know, to deal with the movement and to actually trap him down and, you know, find your way in on target. And if your movement's compromised, that plays into Bivel's hands more than it does into Beterbiev. So again, no predictions because I don't know if this fight's going to be made. I don't know when it's going to be rescheduled for. It's not looking great at the moment, but yeah, cheers to Artur for that one. But with that being said, I'm going to leave this one here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. For right now, it's the Hardcore Casual out.